I appreciate your view of the women's perspective on this side of the fitness coin. It's a big topic, but I think broadly speaking, we just want to give the encouragement that it can be done and it's worth it. And you're a living, walking example of that.
Well, thank you.
And I'm damn proud of you.
Aw, thank you.
Hey gang, welcome back to Mark's 60 Plus Fitness Journey. Okay, on today's episode, we're privileged to have a special guest with us, and that would be my wife, Marcia.
Hello.
How you doing, little buddy?
I'm good. How are you, big buddy?
I'm doing okay. Well, today I want to bring Marcia in to give a perspective, a woman's perspective on fitness, a real world, very doable, effective fitness program that she has, and talk about, give it a female view, because I think I know on our channel here, my channel, we tend to focus on a male perspective, and I think it's very important that we also focus on the women's side and how important that is, and why, for example, you find it so important.
Sounds
So
good.
first of all, what do you do? What do you do for a living right now?
Well, I started a company about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now, called Marcia Trains. And there's two parts to it, both communication centered. One part is I'm a dementia caregiver specialist, meaning I work with families who have somebody who's newly diagnosed with any sort of cognitive impairment. I work in senior communities, training people, families, staff on the best way to engage with, talk to, and have the best outcome relationship-wise with someone who has any sort of dementia. The other side of what I do is a lot lighter, I should say.
Yes.
But I have always loved getting up in front of a room and speaking, and I seem to have a knack for teaching people how to do that.
Yeah.
So I work
fact.
with people who have to go on an interview or give a big presentation or networking skills. As you know, Mark, I teach a class called Ditch the Pitch through a networking group that's local to our area called Biz Connect, where we unpack people's narratives. What is it that's important for you to get across to somebody in a short and concise way, and not a sales pitch, but relationship building.
So I guess we could say that you're a busy person.
I'm pretty busy.
You're very busy. So you would probably agree that for you, fitness plays a big part in your day-to-day life. Just being able to keep the energy up and be able to keep your mind sharp and just be engaged and be able to do your day-to-day stuff at a high level.
Absolutely.
And do you mind if I say how old you are?
Not at all.
64, and you'll be 65 very shortly.
Very shortly.
And if I'm not mistaken, you actually got your Medicare card
I did.
in the mail.
That makes
So-
it real.
So we're of a certain age where a lot of times it's fitness, if you've never done it, is a scary thing. And in particular, I think, for women. So let's first talk about your fitness story. Like what is your fitness story in a nutshell? What did you do, and how long you've been doing it, and how did you start? Why?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on.
You're
I
welcome.
love watching your videos. I think they're so informative and you do them well. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's very sweet.
So I've always been a very active person. Was it focused? Was it consistent? No. I dabbled in everything. I did aerobics. I've run. Always some type of movement. And I've always felt good about doing that, but I know for a fact I didn't always make it a number one priority in the way that I do today. That there are very, very, very few exceptions where I will skip a workout. It has to be for a very good reason, as in maybe we're on vacation.
Right.
And even then, we try to supplement and figure out a way to work that in.
And that's all part of our vacation planning, just for example, is trying to figure out, even if it's just walking,
Right.
which is highly effective, But-
Getting something in there.
Yeah.
So probably just a little bit of backstory. There were a number of people in my immediate family who became ill they passed away, and they were difficult illnesses. One was my oldest brother at the age of 56. And after all that was said and done, I decided that I needed to make my health a priority. Now, I think people have DNA that maybe they are predisposed to a disease. However, it is my lay opinion, because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. I think the more shape you're in, the healthier you are, the better you're able to fight something.
No, I agree with that. I think that's one of the key points that I try to make, and certainly you can reinforce that with that story,
Right.
And the fact that you're more resilient if you're stronger, fitter, and healthier.
Right. So all of that to say that at some point, I want to say it was 15, 16 years ago, I really made a concerted effort to be more structured, to be consistent. And one of the first things that I did, Mark, I've told you about this, was I made a decision to run a race a month for a year. I even put it on Facebook, so there was some accountability.
Mm-hmm. That accountability is big too.
It's big. And I did it, and it was a really great feeling at the end of the year to say I had done that.
Right.
And I ran every manner of race, 5K, 10K, 8K, it didn't matter. I just did it locally. So that sort of kicked things off. I did want to lose weight. I had probably gained 30 unwanted pounds. A combination of stress, menopause, just being really busy. So that was important for me.
Right.
I wanted to lose the weight. I also, by the way, got a fitness tracker. That was one of the things that really also helped me. It was a Fitbit back then, and achieving goals every single day. Okay, I want to get this many steps in, and it seems so small, but it's a huge sense of accomplishment to say I hit those goals. So where I am today, and probably have been for the last 9 years or so, I am a gym person. And counter to you, I take classes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love going into the gym and saying, okay, today I'm going to do back and figuring out what I'm going to do. You do a fantastic job with that. That's not my thing. So I take 5 classes during the week, and I have a walking group one day. So it's 6 days that I am working out. And for me, what works, and I recognize this is not for everybody because I hear it all the time, I go very early in the morning. I am usually finished by 6:30 or 7 a.m. And that is just a really fantastic way for me to start my day.
I agree with that.
I've accomplished something. I've done something for myself physically, emotionally, because there's something very good for your mental health to go and work out the.
It's grounding. It's the endorphins.
It's the endorphins.
You just feel in a different gear when you get done.
There's no question. And so I take a variety of classes. It doesn't really matter what you choose to do. I found a really great combination for me. It's 2 HIIT classes a week.
What's HIIT?
High intensity interval training. They're not easy classes, but they are great. They really challenge me. I take a very intense cycle class and 2 body pump classes a week, which is the Les Mills body pump, which is the weight bearing exercise that women really should have in their workouts.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. And you mentioned, the energy. I'm busy. One of the things I love about it, and I have noticed, is I have a very consistent energy level throughout the day. I'm able to continue moving, going, fielding calls, going out, teaching a class.
It's amazing, really, because sometimes it's a little unnerving for me because you just keep on going. And I have to believe it's because of what you do. It's definitely, and it's not just the gym part of it, the working out part of it. You're very diligent about what you eat.
Yes, I am.
And but I'd like to touch on something before I forget. If a woman that has not been working out or has not worked out for a while wanted to get back into it in some form or fashion, what would you tell her if she was afraid that it wasn't doable, it's not accessible, she can't do it if she's, say, 50, 60 years old or 70? What would you tell her?
I'd say that's just ridiculous. And you can start working out at any age. I believe that. I see women come to the gym who are my age, maybe a little bit older, younger, who've never worked out before. And it's like putting one foot in front of the other. And you have to do it in a way that you feel good about. Doesn't mean it's not going to hurt. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be difficult, but you should walk away from whatever activity you're doing thinking, okay, I did that. That was great.
And have a sense of, I want to come back and do that. Even if that sense is somebody like you or somebody else in that class giving you encouragement to come back and do it again.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people in the classes that I've been taking. We've all been in classes together. Top of mind right now are four of us that are of a certain age, have been going to the same classes for 5-6 years. And I'll tell you what, that is a motivator. We have sort of an accountability with one another. We text if for some reason you can't be there, you're going to be out of town, you let the other person know, you let the other folks know. And we look forward to seeing each other. We look forward to making fun of each other during class. Like, I couldn't follow that routine for anything, but we're still moving and we're having fun. And not every gym is as welcoming as the gym where you and I go, but we always try to make people feel very welcome and welcome into class and encourage them.
Yeah, I'd like to think that, I think it's just like the real world out there. There are going to be people in the gym environment like yourself and like all the other people you mentioned that I know that would be welcoming. And I'm sure you've had people recently that are new to the class, and some maybe not came back, but some do, and they stick with it. And they're now, what I want to do is I want to make these kind of a short little Marcia segments, and don't want to get too long-winded here. But what I'd like to do is ask you to come back, if you would.
I would love to.
And there's a lot of other topics I'd like to talk about. First of all, we'll talk about food. We can talk about nutrition, the way we eat, the way you eat. The general approach that you take to your particular workout program. And also, what I'd like to do is have you talk more about the dementia care specialist side of your business, in the sense that seems to be an epidemic now. In that sense.
Unfortunately, it is.
So
yes.
if anybody out there would like to hear more about that, I would think a lot of folks have experienced this in their family. The dementia care, or dementia, I guess we just a broad scope call it dementia.
The umbrella term is dementia.
It's a very scary thing, and that's a valuable service that I am impressed that you're doing. This is not, I'm not selling your business here. I just think it's a very vital thing that needs to be addressed, and you're on the pointy end of the stick here doing it, so that's cool. So I'd like to have you back for that.
I would love to come back and thank you for those kind words.
And but that's it, I guess. It's amazing how fast these go by, isn't it? It's crazy. But I'm glad you're here, and there'll be more of Marcia Talks. We'll call it Marcia Talks. And I'm going to leave a link to Marcia's website down in the description too. It's marciatrains.com. And Marcia's M-A-R-C-I-A, by the way. That's an ongoing battle. M-A-R-C-I-A. But anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with us. And like I said, I appreciate your view of the women's perspective on this side of the fitness coin. It's a big topic, but I think broadly speaking, we just want to give the encouragement that it can be done, and it's worth it. And you're a living, walking example of that.
Well, thank you.
And I'm damn proud of you.
Aw, thank you. I'm proud of you too.
Well, thank you. I guess with that I'll say, till next time, Mark
and Marcia
out.